Hey everybody, it's Craig with Smartphone. We got a great face-off for you today. Two dual-core processing hitters, the Samsung Galaxy S2 versus the Motorola Droid X2. Don't forget to stop by smartphoneenemy.com. Check out the winner of today's face-off, along with my written review, as well as photos and videos taken from both of today's contestants. All right, let's kick off this face-off. Samsung's Galaxy S2, quad-band GSM, quad-band 3G, also has support for at&t's HSPA plus 4G connectivity, weighs in at 116 grams, the lighter of the two. Build quality, you've got Gorilla Glass, got a, I guess what looks like a gunmetal gray rim that encompasses the entire display. Just behind that there's another plastic rim that encompasses the entire phone, also a portion of the bottom you can see down here, right next to the phone's speaker. Underneath the battery cover, if I can get this off, get my fingernail in there would help. There we go. First off, let's take a look at the battery cover. Not much to it. Little thin piece of rubberized plastic, as you can see in black. Battery, 1650 milliamp hour battery, offering 8 hours of talk time. Micro SD card slot is right here, so obviously it's not hot swappable. Your SIM card slot right there. Put this back on. Get it in there all the way. I get it. Yeah, looks pretty good. Give you an idea just how thin this phone is. I think it's definitely the thinnest dual-core processing smartphone available right now. All right, up near the top of the back, you've got the 8-megapixel camera and LED flash. On top is one of the microphones, as well as a 3.5mm headphone jack. On the right-hand side, power and lock key. On the bottom, the other microphone, as well as a micro USB port. And on the left-hand side is the volume rocker. All right, Droid X2. If I can get this down the home screen, we'll be off and going. All right, we've got dual band CDMA, EVDO Rev A 3G connectivity, no 4G connectivity whatsoever. Weighs in at 155 grams. As far as build quality, I believe again we're dealing with Gorilla Glass. We've got 4 physical keys down here just below the display. Nice little high gloss black over the earpiece, along with a little chrome meshwork. Body of the phone itself, the case itself has a nice rubberized texture, soft coat all over the whole thing, so it feels very, very solid in your hand. Underneath the battery cover, we've got a 1540 milliamp hour battery rated at 7 hours of talk time. Battery cover, I have to mention, is actually made out of metal, something a little unusual these days. Here's your micro SD card slot right here, so it's obviously not hot swappable. Phone speaker down here at the bottom. Plop this back on, if I can. And there we go. And as you can see from a profile shot, we've got a little hump here, which is our 8-megapixel camera and dual LED flash. Up on top is a microphone, as well as a 3.5mm headphone jack, power and lock key. On the right-hand side is the volume rocker. Nothing on the bottom, and on the left-hand side, you've got the HDMI out port and the micro USB port. All right, let's talk a little bit about cameras. Both of the phones offer 8-megapixel cameras. The Galaxy S2 comes with autofocus, LED flash, geotagging, touch focus, face and smile detection, as well as image stabilization, and video capture is 1080p. On the Droid X2, again 8 megapixels with autofocus, dual LED flash, geotagging, as well as image stabilization. Video capture is 720p. All right, let's take a look at the displays on both, because we got a couple of real nice ones. All right, on the Galaxy S2, you've got a 4.3-inch Super AMOLED Plus capacitive touch display showing 480 by 800 pixels, offers an accelerometer sensor, proximity sensor, as well as multi-touch. Upper left-hand corner, you've got a front-facing 2-megapixel camera for video calls. Below the display, you've got 3 keys. You've got 2 touch-sensitive keys, back key and main menu key, as well as a home key, which is a physical key. On the Droid X2, you've got a 4.3-inch QHD LCD capacitive touch display showing 540 by 960 pixels. Also offers an accelerometer sensor, proximity sensor, as well as multi-touch. There is no front-facing camera for video calls. And below the display, you have 4 physical keys, main menu key, home key, back key, as well as search key. All right, as far as memory, the Galaxy S2 comes in 2 versions, either a 16GB or 32GB version with internal storage, 1GB of RAM, and you can expand internal storage an additional 32GB to the use of a micro SD card. Motorola Droid X2 comes in 1 model, 8GB of internal storage, 512MB of RAM, and again, you can expand internal storage an additional 32GB through the use of a micro SD card. Both phones offer Wi-Fi. On the Galaxy S2, it's 802.11a, B, G, and N. Support for DLNA, and it has HDMI out, but it's through an adapter through the micro USB port. On the Droid X2, you've got 802.11b, G, and N. Support for DLNA, and it has its own HDMI out. Bluetooth on the Galaxy S2 version 3 with support for high-speed data transfer. On the Droid X2, it's version 2.1 with support for A2DP. Both of the phones offer GPS with support for AGPS. Both can be used as Wi-Fi hotspots. The processor on the Galaxy S2 is the 1.2 gigahertz ARM Cortex A9 dual-core processor. On the Droid X2, it's the 1 gigahertz NVIDIA Tegra 2 dual-core processor. Operating system on the Galaxy S2 is Android 2.3 Gingerbread. On the Droid X2, it's Android 2.2 Froyo. User interface on the Galaxy S2 is Samsung's TouchWiz 4.0, and on the Droid X2, it's Motorola's Moto Blur. All right, as you can see, I've stopped by the Android market, downloaded the Quadrant Standard Benchmark test on both. Let's kick it off. Get a good clean start. Yes, we did. And again, both phones offer dual-core processors. Samsung Galaxy S2 is a 1.2 gigahertz dual-core versus Droid X 1 gigahertz dual-core processor, and then the Galaxy S2 offers a gigabyte of RAM versus 512 megabytes of RAM on the Droid X2. This gives you a good look at the displays as well. You've got a lot more pixels working on the pixel density working on the Droid X2 with the QHD display. Alright, we've got one more graphics test, 3D graphics test, and we'll be all set. Alright, Droid X2 is done. And what do we come back with? Droid X2 2403, so that's definitely up there. Galaxy S2 2966, it's the first time I've seen it below 3. But again, the Galaxy S2 is our Quadrant Standard Benchmark test winner. Alright, what do you say we take these two for a spin with Raging Thunder 2? And I'll see what I can do about making this something worth watching. No promises. Oh, cut off at the pass, man. Nice guy. Alright, this is obviously the Droid X2. Ooh, made it through the water. Alright, here's the Droid X2. And here we go on the Galaxy S2. See if I can get over. There we go. Oh, yeah. Oh, it passed me up. Gee. Ooh, hit from behind. That wasn't very nice. Alright, got the car clean. Alright, there's a look at a little gaming on our two combatants. Droid X2 up on top and the Galaxy S2 on the bottom. Alright, let's give our YouTube comparison a run. We've got both of the phones running off the same Wi-Fi network. They're both set to default to HQ, and kick it off a little Beyonce. Alright, let me switch these around so the lighting is fair on both. Got two great displays, both very different in the way they look as far as colors. Alright, let's run another one. We got Booty Shakin'. Well, let's check that out. It sounds interesting. And we're off.
What up, y'all? Are you ready? Are you ready for some serious booty shaking action? Wait, not yet. First you have to see this video of this crazy dude flipping out of this user.
All right. See if there's one more we should take a look at. Let's try one more. The Galaxy S2 has loaded and spooled up the videos quicker so far than the Droid X2. Let's see if we get it out of 3. Yep.
Were like the Bible to me when I was a kid.
I have no problem with legitimate art. I do have a problem with graffiti.
All right, there's a look at our YouTube comparison. And again, running off the same Wi-Fi network, the Galaxy S2 spooled up and played the videos quicker than the Droid X2. And as far as display quality, which one you like best, because they are both very different, I'll leave that up to you. Alrighty, I think it's time for unofficial speed test. I've got advanced task killer on both of these. Let's kill everything running in the background. Go back to the home page and let's kick this off. We'll start with calendar. That was definitely the Galaxy S2. Let's try settings. That appeared to be the Galaxy S2, but not by a heck of a lot. Let's try Gmail on both. That was the Galaxy S2. Let's try contacts on both. That was the Droid X2. Let's try maps on both. That was the Galaxy S2. Let's try the market on both. Nobody wants it. Galaxy S2. I don't know why the Droid X2 hasn't updated yet. And then let's go to a third party. Definitely the Galaxy S2. And then once they both get it loaded, well, I guess we're close enough. Let's try running this right now. See who spools it up first. And it doesn't look like anybody's going to spool it up. Well, they're both trying. And it looks like the Galaxy S2 was our winner of the unofficial speed test. All right, let's try our navigation comparison. Navigate to Corner Bakery.
Head southeast on Coffee Place toward La Venta Road, then turn left onto La Venta Road.
Obviously, both of them handled it very well. Let's get the map here on... oh, that's not what I wanted. Let's go into layers. This time for sure. There we go. Go into satellite. Give you a satellite look on both. Redraws pretty quick, as you can see there. Try the Droid X2. Also redraws very quick. Or very quickly is probably a better way to say it. So there's a look at navigation on our two combatants, and I got to tell you, both of them were outstanding. Immediately came back with voice-guided turn-by-turn navigation, no issues whatsoever as far as grabbing and locking onto the GPS.